let's see if we can get Sandusky.
That's no problem at all.
So they set up this sting where Sandusky comes to the mom's house, and they set up recording devices all around the house, and there's cops sitting outside monitoring, and like almost like on TV, I guess. And apparently Sandusky says, and I quote, "I understand. I was wrong. I wish I could get forgiveness from you. I know I won't get it from you. I wish I were dead." Unquote. Which sounds like an admission to me, but okay.
Yeah, but it's not. He doesn't actually say. He doesn't really confess.
He doesn't. That's
Yeah,
true.
there's nothing there.
There's nothing. Unfortunately, there's not. And I mean, I think that was probably smart on Sandusky's part. Unfortunately. So, Ray decides there's not enough evidence to prosecute Sandusky. I agree. I think there probably wasn't enough. Unfortunately, again, you can't just say it's gonna be this grown man who was really well respected in the community. It's gonna be his words versus an 11-year-old boy.
Well, I'm sure she probably sat down with the mother too and probably said, "Look, this is going to be a high-profile case, a lot of publicity. Your kid's name might not stay secret, and so."
Well, and that's the hard part with any kind of situation. This is almost they're a watershed moment. Kind of like the Cosby case. One comes out and everybody goes, "That didn't happen."
And then suddenly 5,000 more
and
come
then
out.
suddenly a whole bunch more show up, and that's when it gains momentum. But there may not have been enough there for him to say, "I really think that this could go." I mean, I'm sure that's why he didn't pursue it. Is that he didn't have even enough to begin with.
Yeah, and but unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that Sandusky did eventually get charged with happened after that. So a lot of people talk about if Ray had just prosecuted Sandusky, none of this would have ever happened. And I don't know that that's true.
Sandusky may have started getting sloppy.
Yeah.
Is that what you're getting at?
Well, no. I just mean that people blame Ray for it.
No, you don't have.
There were a lot of people who enabled him. Ray Ricard was the least among them.
I would agree. I totally agree with that.
All of the victims should have said something, number one.
But so
a lot of other people suspected.
And by the way, we're not pointing the finger at victims for not coming forward.
God,
I don't know. I understand. I understand what
but I
your
understand why they wouldn't.
Right.
I guess.
I don't want anybody to be upset by that.
Yeah. Anyway, this is not an episode about Sandusky, though.
Thankfully.
Yeah. We're not. I think I can pretty solidly say we are never doing an episode on Sandusky.
Yeah, I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of interest in that case, actually. But
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, though, you can't talk about Ricard without talking about Sandusky because
Exactly.
the internet makes her intimately connected.
Yes. So that was just a little bit of really icky background. I promise it will factor in again in a couple minutes.
Whatever you expect.
Let's get back to Ray Ricard, shall we? Yeah.
And Patty?
And Patty. On April 15th, 2005, around 11:30, Ray called his longtime girlfriend Patty to let her know that he's been driving. It's very unclear in all of the stories that I've read. I've read that Patty said he was playing hooky the entire day. I've read that his colleague said he was playing hooky for half a day, like he was going to take half a day off. I've heard that he was actually working. I've heard that he was driving home. I've heard that he was driving that he told her that he was driving to somewhere.
Yeah,
all I know is that he said, I'm driving in this valley, which for all I know, I mean, it could be that meant he was on his way somewhere. It could mean he was on his way home.
We don't know exactly what was said on that phone call.
We really don't. Yeah.
But yeah, we do know that the cell phone pinged the tower that was next to Highway 192. So he was driving down that road.
He was, yeah.
Happened.
No, absolutely, and that's not an issue for me. It's just what he was. That I think is very important because there are some things that people bring up as being weird that aren't weird if he was coming from work, say, right? But if he was playing hooky the entire day, it is kind of weird.
Well, but the thing is I know Patty said that he decided to go driving.
Yeah.
And
Which he did
was known.
frequently.
Yeah, he was known to go take I'm not one of those guys, but some people like to take a 3-4 hour drive.
Yeah.
and just drive.
Yeah.
And he loved his little car.
He had a red Mini Cooper.
Yep, and he
Pretty
loved to
cute.
drive that thing.
Yeah.
Which is always hilarious to me because do you know how tall he
6
was?
feet tall.
I thought he was like 5'7", I think.
No, he's 6
No, he's a big guy, and it always cracks me up when I see big guys in Mini Coopers, except Mini Coopers fit tall people.
They do.
Which is the amazing part about the Mini Cooper.
This episode brought to you by Mini Cooper.
Yeah, product placement.
For real.
Yeah, I do think that he was driving on 192 east northeast to Lewisburg because
That's
he was
absolutely-
spotted in Lewisburg that afternoon.
Yeah, no,
So-
there's no doubt in my mind that he was in Lewisburg in that afternoon. Whether he told Patty that's where he was going or not,
I don't
not
know.
sure. Whether he was, knocking off work for a half day or a whole day, I don't know. All I know is he ended up in Lewisburg that afternoon. I'm
Fair enough.
not concerned about that timetable at all.
No.
But again, it does depend a little bit. We'll talk about that in a little bit, actually. So as we said, Patty gets home from work. She doesn't see Ray, so she goes to the gym. She comes back, calls
No
his
Ray?
cell phone a bunch of times.
Watches a little Netflix.
No, not yet.
Drink a beer.
2005 now. Maybe drinks beer, some wine. Calls Ray's cell phone a number of times. She says it goes straight to voicemail. And then finally, after she had not heard from him in 12 hours, which was incredibly unlike him, she called the cops. She called 911 and said, my boyfriend, Ray Greeker, is missing. And they, of course, said, oh, crap.
The DA.
The DA's missing. Better get on that. What's the...
backwater.
They
So
could've
somebody's like,
died
we're going
off.
to try this backwater solar system. And then it failed.
There are urban
Yeah.
explorers on our planet that is like so rampant that like people go to like Chernobyl, for instance,
Yeah.
just to like take pictures of
That'd be
how
kinda
awesome
cool.
it is. I would find it so hard to believe that like if there were this alien race and they're like, hey, there's this derelict, hotel that had this awesome view in this backwater place that like nobody really goes to, that nobody would be like, hey, let's go there. And then be like, oh, weird, there's this radio signal coming from this planet over here.
Yeah, they
How
might
weird
have.
is that?
They might have just hung out there for a while, and then when they detected signs of intelligent life on planet Earth, they decided to vacate.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean,
hard to say.
I just think that if there were a alien species out there that had put a hotel that close to us that recently, I mean, like
So,
really,
how do you know it's a hotel and not say like a brothel? I mean, yeah.
he's not the one making
These
this
guys are
theory up
making
here.
some big leaps and and big assumptions here.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that having been said, that is the end of the theories as to why these spheres are what they are. We've got natural formations. We've got that they were the remnants of some form of life on this planet before us. We've got the moon of Saturn theory. There's all kinds of stuff going on here. Oh, and meteorites. Can't forget about meteorites.
Oh yeah.
No, you
yeah.
cannot.
And I mean, these are probably the top 5. I found a lot of more sidebar threads that go into some theories as to what these are. But again, it just would take so long to just go through all of them. But that's.
What about like alien Pokemon pieces or something like that?
I think that would be the remnants of a prior civilization. They were children's toys. They were Happy Meal toys. They were all dumped in one area.
That was it.
That's what it was.
It was the Earth is the ocean of a different alien race.
They just come here and dump their garbage out.
Yeah.
So what do you guys? I mean, what's your preferred theory here on this one?
Well, I can't really. I can't choose one over the other. I mean, they're all equally believable. Well, not really. I'll go with the geologists who say that this is natural concretion formations. It seems pretty blatantly obvious. And of
Does it?
course, it might be that once again that Halliburton and Big Tobacco successfully pulled the wool over my eyes. But it seems like with the facts at our fingertips so far, that looks like the most plausible theory.
Yeah,
Because I feel obligated to provide.
representation.
Yeah, I feel again.
Your alien
I'm
brethren.
gonna
To the
say
whack job wing.
once again, aliens advocate. I think it's the Ark theory. I like that theory a
Yeah?
lot. I mean, I know that you put it in there because you knew that I would like it.
It's a fun theory.
It's a good, I mean, and again, I think that, like, one of the big mysteries that we are always trying to solve as human beings is where do we come from, right? Because I think there's this, like, innate feeling that, like, well, we couldn't have been a product of billions of years of evolution. And everybody, of course everybody says, like, yeah, no, we were evolution, it's fine. But there's always that feeling of, like, there must be something a little bit more, right? Like, there's something, like, a little extra there about us. And I feel like this is a great kind of, a little something extra about us.
So, yeah, we were
So, Alien Ark.
yes,
I'm
Alien
there.
Ark. They dropped a bunch of microbes on the planet, and the next thing you know. So here's the thing. They're kind of like pot growers, illegal pot growers that go out to the national forest and drop a bunch of seeds.
Maybe
plant
that's
some seed
it.
stuff.
Maybe that's why we
And-
haven't been visited.
Well, what I'm saying is
We
that
haven't been harvested yet.
they're going to come back for the harvest here pretty quick. So I would say everybody,
Oh,
all of our listeners, buy guns, lots of ammo.
Oh, geez.
no! What do you think, Steve?
If I have to choose, I'm going to go with natural formations. Although I could also see meteorites being a plausible one. But after that, it gets too far for me.
Well, and again,
to hang on
this
to.
is one of those quintessential, like, out-of-place artifacts, right? In that I could almost see natural formation, but for a few details. Right? I could almost see this, but for a few details. So I think that's, again, that's what makes it an unsolved mystery.
Yeah, that's the difficulty with this.
Yeah.
Well, but we're not about unsolved mysteries. We're about solving unsolved mysteries.
You're wrong.
And
You're wrong.
Not today, buddy.
I think we solved it.
No.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
if you want to take a look at the image or two of these spheres, or you want to go ahead and follow some of the links that we've got.
We'll also have a picture of a basketball out there if you don't know what a sphere is.
You can find that all on our website. That website is thinkingsidewayspodcast.com. You're going to give us a listen on iTunes because that seems to be where everybody's coming from. When you're on iTunes, do go ahead and take the time to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a rating. We always like to hear those and see those things. Appreciate it. If you forget to download a show and you're running around and a new one's come out, you can always find us on Stitcher and listen to it there on your mobile device, streaming it right there. You can find us and like us on Facebook. And of course, if you've got something that you want to say to us about this episode, whether it's an agreement, a disagreement, or just you want to suggest something completely different, you are more than welcome to do that. You can send us an email. That email address, as always, is thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com. Okay, well, that having been said is all that we've got on this one.
Wow.
Well,
It's still rolling around, but I still don't have an answer to it.
no, I think we solved it. But I do want to say, if you are a Klerksdorf, if you are a Klerksdorf sphere, please contact us. We want to hear your story.
I guess that's a thing, right? Is we didn't think about fossils.
No, we
It
didn't.
could have been animal droppings.
It was aliens.
Okay.
Could have been alien droppings.
Right. It's time to go, guys.
No,
All right.
it was aliens.
Bye.
Bye.
Aliens. This episode of Thinking Sideways is not brought to you by A Vault Full of Garys. Instead, it is brought to you by Dark Matter from the author of the Wayward Pines trilogy. Blake Crouch comes a new sci-fi thriller called Dark Matter, which tells the story of Jason Desmond, a brilliant physicist who is abducted and knocked unconscious by a masked man. When Jason wakes up, his life is radically different from the one he knew, and he's achieved something he never dreamed possible. But how did he get there? What happened to his old life? Jason's search for answers leads him on a strange journey and puts him in the crosshairs of a seemingly unbeatable foe. So pick up a copy of Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, now in paperback, and available everywhere books are sold. And by CrimeCon, Indianapolis, Indiana, June 9th to the 11th. Pet dogs, meet us, get tickets. Don't forget, it's crimecon.com, and promo code is Sideways20 for 20% off your tickets.
Thinking Sideways. brought the aliens. You must unlearn what you have learned.
I don't know.
Stories of things we simply don't know the answer to.
Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Thinking Sideways. I'm Joe, joined this week, as always, by
Devin?
and
Steve.
And we're here to solve another cool mystery. This is one that's bedeviled the world for almost 3 decades now.
It's made me look like an idiot.
Yeah, no, I've tried to break this mystery and had no luck.
Not me. I
you
try
not
to
even
admit
tried?
my ignorance and things like
You know
this.
better.
so,
You didn't
yeah,
even-
I know better.
Yeah,
Didn't even try.
yeah, no, that's okay. By the end of the episode, we will have solved it, so don't
Uh-huh.
worry about that. This has been around for 26 and a half years right now, and holds supposedly that maybe possibly a secret to a hidden treasure. Well, we really don't know.
Or maybe something.
Or something.
Or
yeah.
maybe nothing.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe just a note or something like that. I don't know. We'll find out at the end. So first of all, let me say what we're talking about here. We're talking about none other than Kryptos. And you've probably heard about that. That's a sculpture at the CIA in Langley, Virginia.
Yep.
Yeah, Kryptos. Have you-
Big thing.
If you haven't heard about it, well, you've heard about it now. And also a little shout out to a few of our listeners. Actually, several have suggested this. I think Rona and Sean, Linda, Alex.
And that's how far we got before we started saying,
Yeah, and
Dude,
everybody
that's
else.
such an old request.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. We really appreciate the suggestion. And I, for my part, I've been doing a little too much murder and mayhem lately, so I thought I'd take a break and do something different. And next time I'll go back to some grisly murders. But yeah, let's do cryptography.
yeah.
Yeah, why
Fall
not?
off the wagon.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the beginning. In the late 1980s, the brass at the CIA decided the agency was missing something, like, operational security, or maybe better intel, or employees who weren't Russian moles, maybe. Oh, no, that
none
wasn't
of
it. No, they didn't have any publicly funded art installations. And so they decided they commissioned one, and they hired a sculptor named Jim Sanborn to create this sculpture. And actually, I think the government in this case got pretty good bang for its buck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Better than DIA for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Or that one that's just a rock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's that one downtown outside Pioneer Place, which is several rocks in a row. It's like, well, how do I get that job? Yeah, you give me the money, the $100,000. I will give you the sculpture.
Oh my god, he just did an accent that wasn't German.
No, it would be French accent.
It was a German-French accent.
Anyway, sorry.
Apologies to our French listeners.
And our German listeners.
Yeah. Well, at the time this was commissioned, this was toward the end of the Berlin Wall was still standing, and as far as any of us knew, because I was alive back then, we all thought it was going to stay standing for a lot longer. I mean, we all figured it would come down sooner or later, but when it came down, it was kind of a surprise for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. It was all of a sudden. So something commissioned today by the CIA might be a little more cynical. If it were me, I would create a giant shifty-looking bronze mole with a file folder in his mouth. They probably would showing the door. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd look at your concept and you'd go into a deep dark room at the bottom and never come out.
Yeah, go to our waiting room. Yeah, stay there for about 5 years. Jim Sanborn created something more serious, and like I said, the public got good bang for its buck with this one. And it's kept a lot of cryptography nerds busy, and a lot of people are still racking their brains over it, and I mean a lot of people, some very smart people. And of course, journalists have managed to get lots of good news stories out of it over the years. So it's been a win all the way around, I think. And it's still unsolved, or at least part of it is.
So I know what Kryptos looks like.
Uh-huh.
We all in this room, but I think a lot of people probably don't, so...
Yeah, if you're not near a browser and you can't bring up
You're
a picture
driving.
of it. Yeah, if you're driving.
Lots of people
yeah.
drive and listen.
Yeah.
I do it all the time, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're driving, just close your eyes and try to bring this
Don't listen to Joe. Please
don't.
open your eyes immediately.
Listen to Joe, but don't close your eyes.
Okay. All right, yeah. If there's no rest area nearby, keep your eyes open. So let me describe it here. If you're standing on, most of the pictures are taken from one side of it. That's the side where you can look at the writing and it's correct. It's a bunch of
Read from left to right.
Yeah, it's a bunch of, and so when you're looking at it from that side, there is a large petrified log standing upright on the end, on one end, on the right side.
It's what, 8, 10 feet tall?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty good size.
Yeah, nice log. I wouldn't mind having that log. Yeah. And then there's a tall copper plate that sort of scrolls out like a sheet of paper, as if it were like a scroll. You know?
I want to point out it's real copper, so it's actually green.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And
So everybody knows.
yeah. So yeah, don't go to Google and pictures. Say they lied.
Yeah.
No,
It's green.
it is really copper, and it scrolls out like so. If you're standing on this side, it scrolls away from you, and then it goes in a semicircle back towards you, and then it curves away around the other way, so it scrolls around away from you. On the one side, facing towards you, it's just marble, marble around there. On the other side of it, of the semicircle, there's a little round pool.
In the arc of the S shape that the copper
Yeah,
makes.
the arc was copper. Yeah.
Yeah, the tail in the bottom
Yeah,
end.
so that actually is kind of like the other end of the